So, hello everyone. It is me, Demetra K, and I am sitting here with Donovan, the recovering Democrat Sadiq, also now known as the Black Yul Brenner, because he is as bald as an eagle's behind. But anyway, welcome to the Demetra K Show, where we promote Black love, knowledge, and understanding of all things that go on in the Black community. To make us an even better people, with the emphasis on even, because we are a great people, but we can always strive to do better. So I also like to say hello on a big giant welcome to everybody, as we are not live, but we will be later on Tuesday evening at 5 p.m. Central Time. So stay tuned for that. Today we are going to be talking about something that's trending today, and it has to do with Chick-Fil-A. The diversity, equity, and inclusion vice president, he said some things that has the feathers of some conservatives ruffled. So we'll talk about that. Then we're also going to ask a question. Is there any circumstance that you would fight over a man, or fight for a man or a woman? Of course, it's going to be specific to Donovan and I when we get to that. And then we're going to also talk about being a 10 mentally, because we always hear about being a 10 or rate yourself, on a scale of 1 to 10. Well, we want to see how you should really rate somebody mentally. But anyway, Donovan, how are you?
Hey, I am doing great. Overcast here in Los Angeles. They call it the May gloom or something into June gloom and stuff. I mean, it's been an unusual weather pattern here, because usually this time of year it is scorching by now. And it hasn't been doing that, so it's been kind of cold. But hey, do us a favor, hit that like, share, and subscribe button. And if you see the banner scrolling at the bottom, look at it again, people, scrolling at the bottom. If you want to contribute to the Demetra K podcast and the show, that's a great way to do it. You've got Venmo, PayPal, and Cash App, all those applications that if you want to subscribe. Also, do us a favor, share this on your platform. That way it helps break the algorithms and stuff. And then you might have family members and friends that don't know that you guys follow Demetra K, and they see it on your timeline, and they get interested in it, and they say, hey, wow, this is a great message. Good thing to go. Great topic coming up, you guys. Please, please, please. Let's hear your comments in the comment section. And do not forget to join us on Sundays for the Demetra K Show, where you guys actually come in, interact, and you can come on the show and voice your opinions and join us in the conversation. So, Demetra, let's get involved in this and see what's happening.
All right. So Donovan has not seen or heard this video at all, so I kind of want to get his first reaction to it. So again, it is going to be the Vice President, Eric McReynolds of Chick-Fil-A. He is in charge of the Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion department, and he is a new hire. And something that he said has really got people upset. So here it goes.
Shared with me by a dear friend who shared with me about a revival that was taking place at a church in Texas. And at that revival, on the front seat was an older African American man that was sitting there. And this young man got up that was there in that service, and he'd been so gripped with conviction about the racism that was in that local community in a small town in Texas, that he took a shoe brush, and he walked over to this elderly gentleman, and he knelt on his knees and began to shine his shoes. And tears began to flow in that service. It was an attitude of conviction. So I invite folks to put some words to action here. And if we need to find somebody that needs to have their shoe shine, we need to just go right on over and shine their shoes. And whether they got tennis shoes on or not, maybe they got sandals on, it really doesn't matter. But there's a time in which we need to have, some personal action here. Maybe we need to give them a hug too, brother.
And some stock in Chick-Fil-A.
But I bought about 1,500 of these, and I gave to all our Chick-Fil-A operators and staff a number of years ago. And so any expressions of a contrite heart, of a sense of humility, a sense of shame, a sense of embarrassment, beget with.
So toward the end, he said begins with a contrite heart. I accidentally cut that off. So yeah. All right. So again, that was Eric McReynolds, the VP, Vice President of Chick-fil-A's Equity and Inclusion Division. And he was basically saying that someone told him a story of being at a revival once. A revival is something that usually happens at a church. And one of the guys, who I'm assuming was a white guy, went over to that of a black man and shined his shoes. So he says that that's a practice that he, I guess, has implemented. Ever since then, he's heard the story, and he's purchased 1,500 shoe brushes. I guess to when you see somebody black, you go in and you shine their shoes, and then he even took it a step further and say, give them a hug and all of that. Now, I also want to say that Chick-fil-A is a Christian organization. Of course, you guys have heard them in the news quite a bit, especially in regards to the LGBTQ community, as they have been accused of being anti-LGBTQ, as they have given money to anti-LGBTQ legislation. Of course, they have faced boycotts before by that said community. And recently, I think it was some airport in Texas. Don't quote me on which one. I think it was Dallas Fort Worth Airport. Wanted to have a Chick-fil-A, or Chick-fil-A wanted to put one in there, and they told them no. And Chick-fil-A sued them, saying, well, you guys are doing this because of our religious convictions. But Supreme Court was like, well, there's no proof that they won't let you have one there due to your religious beliefs. So they didn't pursue that. I should say that Governor Greg Abbott was behind Chick-fil-A. So again, Chick-fil-A is a very conservative Christian organization that is also closed on Sunday. So if you go looking for chicken on Sunday from Chick-fil-A, you will not find it, as they feel like their family should be able to have that day off and go to church or whatever it is they do. So as of this particular video that I showed you, conservatives are in an uproar. Now they're calling for a boycott, and they're calling Chick-fil-A woke gone wrong, right? Because, conservatives have this new catchphrase that they're trying to reverse woke. And as many people have said, it does sound like maybe they're using the N word when they say woke, as woke is a bad thing. Woke is causing all these problems, like with that of Budweiser. Of course, you guys know with Dylan Mulvaney, the trans woman who they gave a commemorative beer can to, and Anheuser-Busch has lost billions of dollars due to the backlash. Of course, Target is now facing it due to conservatives and what they have done with organizations that they deem to be anti whatever they are. And so now Chick-fil-A, who, as I said, is normally a conservative group, is facing a backlash from conservatives due to saying that white people, for lack of better words, should go and act contrite by shining the shoes of black people. Donovan.
Wow. That's a lot to take in there. Now, as a Catholic, somebody who's raised in the Catholic Church and all that other good stuff, all that foolishness that goes on in the Catholic Church, there was a thing where Jesus, if you believe in that, Jesus would go around and he would wash the feet of people and his apostles. And he showed his apostles to wash the feet as a very humbling, and, the master versus the servant versus the master, to do that, you should be able to do that. And that's something that's taught in the Christian annals, and especially in the Catholic Church, is taught in the Catholic Church. But before I get into that, I just noticed, and I keep asking people this all the time. They keep saying African American. How do you automatically look at me and assume that I'm of African descent? What if I was Haitian? Do you see what I'm saying? It's like, how do they come to say, well, African American? That's why I always tell people I'm a Black American, which delineates I'm a dark-skinned man of American descent here, but that's just the adjective. But the washing of the feet, Jesus and the apostles, that's something that was done. But I think I think what he's really doing, it doesn't, okay, you can wash all the feet you want. Now, in the modern age, if somebody came up to me and started washing my feet or washing my shoes, wouldn't that be considered assault? in some aspect, if I really didn't want that person to do. And then what if I have white shoes and you've been shining somebody's shoes that is dark shoes, and you put the darkness on my shoes? You know what I mean? It's like, didn't that be a form of assault? So I think what he was doing
I think it's really just like a brush. It's symbolic.
Yeah, but still, even the brush has dirt on it if you use it, so much time, whatever it is. But I digress.
Because if you go shine the wrong Negro's Jordans, you might draw back a nub.
Right, exactly. So I think what he was basically saying was kind of a symbolic thing. And you've got these people out here that are really far gone in their religion, and they actually, because I guess he did order 11,000 or whatever things of brushes for people to do that.
Yeah, 1,500
or whatever. I mean, in actuality, to do that, I think that you would be inviting a lot of problems to do that. So religious fanatic, in my opinion, from what I saw and from what I heard, that's religious fanaticism. And if he's a person in Chick-fil-A, you're looking at a lot of liability issues if somebody is going to go out there and actually do what you ask them to do or tell them to do. So I think it's kind of ridiculous. But again, we're in an age where you have the religious right that is supposedly believes in democracy. A small group wants to tell everybody else how they should live, and I think that's not correct.
Yeah, there's so much there. Now, I should also say that conservatives call the food at Chick-fil-A, because they serve chicken, God's chicken, right? That's what they refer, because they're supposed to be, of course, conservatives are the party of family values, right? They're big time Bible toting Christians. They only use it when it applies to their nonsense. But as I said, there's so much there. And I want to say this, okay? I do believe that there are some white people that are very contrite, because I'm assuming that, for the racism and the things that the horrors that Black people have gone through and gone through in this country, which is why he's saying that, white people should be contrite and brush these shoes or whatever. So I do believe that there's white people who are like, what, that's horrible. I'm sorry for what my people did. And, all those things. And great, but not great, because you know what we want. We want to check. I don't need you to shine my shoes. Like I said, most Negroes, we spend the most money on shoes here in America. With that being said, we take care of our own shoes. You know what I mean? We don't want to be wearing the Jordans or whatever. You don't want them creased up, so you're walking in them a certain way. You ain't walking when it's raining. Because I got tennis shoes like that. That if it's raining, I'm not gonna wear them because I don't want them dirty, right? So I wear another pair of shoes or whatever. And I'm not even a tennis shoe fanatic like that. But the point that I'm making is really kind of being facetious. So, Eric, we don't need you to shine our shoes. We need you, with that great big platform that you have, say, hey, fellow white conservatives, I know that 90% of you don't want Negroes to have reparations, but it should be our moral and Christian duty to help them get that, since our forefathers, many of them, are responsible for what Black people are going through in this country. I think it's symbolic. It's a great step to open a conversation, but I think there's more to be done. You know what I mean? Like, really, because we know that in a lot of circles, Chick-fil-A has the ear of a lot of Congress members. They do, because they help pay for legislation for the anti-LGBTQ stuff. And if you really think about it, they're doing what they're supposed to be doing because it lines up with their beliefs. If you read the Bible, it does say homosexuality is an abomination. That's what the Bible says, right? I'm not saying whether it's true or not. I'm saying what the Bible says. So they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. That said, they do have the ear of a lot of people in Congress, and they can say, hey, you know what, bud? Let's go ahead and give them something, so we can try to atone, because that's what the brushing the shoes off is. It's atonement for them, right? They're saying this is our atonement, but if we really want to atone, let's help them get reparations and some land and everything else that they've been asking for.
Yeah, and it's funny that you said that, with the atonement thing, isn't it? As a multi-billion-dollar corporation or whatever, Chick-fil-A is, how much money they have, because they are, it isn't cheap to go in there and get a thing of chicken. It ain't cheap. You're going to go in there and it's good. I guess it's good. I don't really eat there because I can't afford it. But the atonement thing. Now, just think, I'm a CEO or whatever I am, a company officer, and I'm saying, wow, let's just go and atone and show symbolically that we're, getting on bended knee saying we're sorry in this way is way cheaper than paying billions of dollars out to the Black community, which would really show, that you really feel what you feel towards what has happened to Black people. Like I said, to shine my shoe, that's pittance to what it would cost me if I gave them billions of dollars, which they could do. If they really wanted to show their atonement and stuff, they know what the Black community needs. They already know. And Jesus Christ even preached this. If you have a bed and somebody doesn't, give them your bed. 50% of all homeless in the United States is Black people. So why not start opening up buildings and stuff and start donating that to the Black community to help the homeless issue specifically for Black people. Put your money where your mouth is at the end of the day. Put your money where your mouth is, because that's the only thing that's really going to show that you actually are sorry. When you go to court and you are suing for injustice, right? Let's say the cops roughed you up and stuff like that. Even though the cops don't pay, it comes out of the taxpayers' coffers, which is that's why we need qualified immunity, where the cop is liable, not the taxpayer. But anyway, that's another story. When you go there and they give you the money, it's for to right a wrong. You're there for the money. They're not gonna. I mean, if your leg is already busted up, or cousin Mike is already in the grave, you're not going to be able to bring that guy back. The only way they can do it is monetary compensation to show that we were wrong and this is how we can fix it in regards to what happened. Breonna Taylor, what was it? 12 million or $20 million was the payout that her family got in her loss. They can't bring her back, and that's what is the standard to show if you really are sorry about things that actually happen. You go there and you go and you sue for damages.
Right. And, as you're saying, I mean, it's rather insulting. It's rather insulting to us as Black people to think that all you got to do is go shine those Negro shoes. Just go shine their shoes. Now, I don't think they'll forgive you. You'll be all right. Just shine it and make sure you're contrite and you do a good job. Make sure you do it with all your heart. And now, listen, I'm not saying that what he is saying, because I don't know, I just got to believe if he spent, and bought 1,500 brushes, that maybe he really believes that's the way to do it. But Black people ain't asking y'all to shine our shoes. If you like me, I don't want you even touching me. That's on the strength. I don't even want you touching me. You know what I mean? So, I don't think it's a good idea. You just roll up and just be touching Black people, talking about there. That should do it. I think we're good now. We're even? No, we're not even. You know what I mean? So it's insulting, but I get it. But, my thing now is, now these conservatives, they're going to start fighting with each other. Chick-fil-A has got a lot of money. You know what, too? I would tend to believe, because Dan Cathy, he's the CEO of the company. I would even imagine he knows where a lot of bodies are buried, too. You know what I mean? Especially since he's giving money to different things. I bet he's been very instrumental on a lot of stuff that's been behind the scenes. And so you messing with a large corporation. Now they want to, boycott Chick-fil-A. But let me also tell y'all something, okay? This is where he's kind of going to backfire on these conservative white people. Because who eat a lot of chicken? And this ain't even on no stereotypical stuff. Let's just keep it a buck, okay? We eat some chicken. I've had Chick-fil-A before, and it's good. It's some rather good chicken, right? Now, I know that was kind of raccoon. That's some good old chicken. But point that I'm making is, yeah, I guess white people eat chicken. They do, but is it gonna work? And like you said, that's biblical. Jesus said to shine the shoes of people who are, less, that I guess are, more needy or something like that, if you will. So why y'all got a problem with what he's doing in the Bible? Because like you said, it's biblical. So y'all white folks got a problem with the Bible because y'all use it to justify making all these abortion bans and, that homosexual.
Why slavery was fine.
Yeah, y'all use it for that. But when it comes down to shining the shoes of black people, y'all mad at that? See, my thing is, I know racism exists, but I'd rather my racists be upfront with me. I don't like your black ass. I just despise. Just be honest with me. You know what I mean? I'll say, well, no, it's because you're black. You don't want black people to have any remnants of any relief for what was done to us. You just don't. So you're a hypocrite for one, because you're going against the teachings of the Bible. And what's wrong with saying, okay, I'm sorry, Negro, for what we did to you, him and shiny shoes. You all right? What's wrong with that? Even though we don't want that, but I don't see what he did was wrong. But I'm telling you, as a black woman, white people, don't go buying all the shoe brushes off the shelf, because if you come up to me, you probably gonna get taken here and get taken there.
But the sad thing about that is there's always going to be a Negro and all these Negro pastors out here. They're going to be like, yes, that's right. We need to forgive. We need to forgive. It's amazing to me how, think about it, that the slave master back in the day, and there were some incidents where the slave master was abusing the slaves, and at the same time pointing out in the Bible how biblical it was to abuse them. But at the same time, the slave has to forgive those that mistreat him according to the white man's Bible. And that's passed down generation to generation to generation to where we're at today. I'm talking about 4 or 5 generations. That's all we're talking about to today, to where you've got Negro pastors out there that will tell you and I, oh, we need to forgive them for what they did to us. Oh, don't worry about the reparations money. All we want to do is be recognized as human beings. All we want to do, you know what I mean? They will tell you that. No. Run me my money. According to the United Nations and the World Court, you colonized and did all this. Cut me my check. That's what you believe, but this isn't what the world in general believes. So cut my check, and then I will go about my merry business, because what you did to me was an injustice, and the only way to correct it is to financially compensate me for my injuries throughout the centuries.
Other thing too, we should realize as black people, look how they organize. We need to get together. We need to boycott this person, that person, and this, that, and the other. They are organized in their evilness. Why can't we at least be organized in pursuing righteousness for ourselves, right? Because we are so busy fighting over everything. As I say, we'll fight over the time of day at 6 o'clock in the afternoon. We fight over everything, So we need to let this be a lesson to us that they on the same page no matter what it is. We need to also do the same thing. Now, I don't know. I don't have a dog in a fight with Chick-fil-A. I'm vegan as of today, for real, right? I ain't eating no more meat, for real. So I won't be going back to Chick-fil-A. I might go back and get some fries, and the fries is good too, okay? But I don't have a dog in a fight. Because for one, I don't agree with him shining the shoes of black people, because that's not going to suffice. But unfortunately, like you said too, Donovan, there'll be some Negro somewhere talking about, well, I think it's a fresh start. I think that's the least they can do. And you guys is just mad all the time about everything. Just let them shine your shit. There's going to be people saying that. And, I ain't one for violence, but I think they just need a good little chop in the throat if they say something like that. But we don't want that. We don't want that. But conservative, your racism is showing, and your hypocrisy is showing, and your lack of being a good Christian is showing, because the Bible is telling that man to do that. And why are y'all mad at God? Didn't y'all say it was God's chicken? Ain't that God's word? So y'all mad at God now? I mean, essentially.
I always ask my my white friends that are affluent, which most of them are, And they talk all that Christian stuff to me, whatever. Like I said, I'm a Catholic, just like they're Catholics, right? And I always put this question to them. I said, well, if you are so believing in the Christian faith, the Catholic faith, if you really believe it, give me half of your money right now and let God worry about it. They won't do that. They won't do that. And that will show you that these people don't even believe in the very stuff that they tell you that you should believe. And I was talking to a friend of mine a couple of days ago, Demetra, and I was telling him, you got to really think about this. Fear is something that is taught. So as slaves, as a mom, you would teach your children how to survive under the master's rules. Bow down, don't do this, whatever. Now, let me ask you this. When did that stop being taught?
As far as bow down to the master and all of that?
Well, in general, when has it stopped being taught how to survive in the white man's world?
It's never stopped being taught.
Exactly. So that's my point. So fear is taught. So when you see a lot of people that don't want to rise up, you got all these Black people in the South. They see what's going on down there, and they won't rise up. But Chicago and New York and these areas are showing you, if you put your foot down and say that's enough is enough, you could make a difference. But look at all in the South, and I was born in the South. This is another reason why I don't like the South. I'm just like, how is it that all these people that look like me are in the majority down here and they don't control or own anything, because it is taught to them just to be in survival mode, and they've never exited that.
You see my shirt?
Yes.
10,000 fearless. This is a shirt of the Nation of Islam. Okay, it has a lion on there. And the minister is asking for 10,000 fearless Black men and women to stand up and, get and get what we got coming to us, as far as, just be fearless in pursuing those things, right? All you asking for is 10,000 out of almost the 50. What do we have? 43 million, 46, 45 million people, and the Black people in the United States. Can we at least get 10,000 to get on the same? Make sure y'all see it. 10,000 to get on the same page and pursue happiness for ourselves, as Black people. Why is that? So now I've had this shirt probably 5 years or so now, 5 or 6 years. I've had this shirt, and I'm not sure if 10,000 fearless have been amassed, but I don't think that's a really small drop in the bucket compared to the many people that we have here. And so, as you said too, in regards to all the Black people that's in the South, I live in the South now, and a lot of things just make me raise my eyebrow. Like, y'all think this is normal? Because coming from Southern California, us Black folks, we not scared. We're like, well, what you not gonna do is talk to me, or what I'm saying, like we little gangster. But here is just like, I'm not saying all, but some of us think that racism is normal. We having, as Susie Ann, they taking your order and talking to you crazy. And they're like, people think that stuff is normal, like it's every day, right? Like, I won't even eat with somebody acting crazy with me. And I'm very leery of allowing them to serve me too, which is why I try to eat at home a lot. But the point that I'm making is, many of us here in the South think that's just normal. It's just every day. Well, I just have a little racism as I go outside. It's okay. I'm used to it. But like I said, in California, we turns up. It's like we're unapologetic about it. I get it. It's a different climate. And I'm not saying California is not racist. It's probably more because it's covert. But what I'm saying is we got a little bit more, our heart don't pump no Kool-Aid when it comes to the call it out. I know there's a lot of fearless Black people in the South too. But to your point, because there's more Black people in the South than anywhere in the United States, we should be a mighty, mighty force. We really should be.
Right. And again, like I said, fear is something that is taught, and it's continued to have been taught since slavery. Nothing has changed in regards. What do parents tell their young sons? How to interact with the police? We shouldn't be having to worry about that. I always tell women all the time, especially when I hear women say this, there ain't no men protecting the community, and there ain't no men standing up. Ain't no men protecting Black women. Well, why is that? One of the reasons is because we are told to stand down. I don't want nothing to happen to my baby. Don't go out there. When you interact with the police, just comply. No, hell with that. You don't comply if you know your rights. You don't comply if you know the cop has no authority over you unless you're being arrested. They have no authority over you. So we have to stop teaching fear within our people. That's why I look at all these enclaves of where Black people live. South Carolina, that's a big example of why Jimbo Clyburn is where he's at. And he stays there. The people are mentally challenged.
Joe Biden is where he's at because of South Carolina.
Right. They're mentally challenged to be afraid to upset the apple cart and try something different and to do something different because grandmama is a Democrat, grandpapa, and it goes down and down. You better vote Democrat. You remember that one meme when that one lady was like, this boy voted, that's one for Trump. She was in the car. She's mad at the sun. That's what I'm saying. It's taught. And at this point, I mean, we are in the fourth quarter. 2-minute drill is upon us as Black people. If we do not make a stand now, there's going to be no point because there's a lot of this right now that are just picking up our ball and we're going to go live somewhere else. And me speaking for myself, I'm not leaving here without my check. What I'm due.
And before we move on to the other topics, you said, where you said basically, and I'm paraphrasing, that the women are kind of like at the helm because the men are told to stand down. I think that's true. So I won't dispute that. I believe that's to be true. But when I think about a man like my father, and when my mom were together, and please don't mistake me when I say it this way, because I don't mean to be disrespectful to my mom or any other woman out there. My mom knew better. My mom knew better than to usurp or rock the authority of my father. Now, I'm not saying my father, was a tyrant or nothing like that. But what I'm saying is my father was so much of a man and a father and a husband in every sense of the word, protecting, providing, and everything else that a man is supposed to do. Well, my mom knew what this man says goes. So the point that I'm making to that is if we have more men in the household that would say, sassafras, shut your ass up. Why? And I'm being me. In the best loving way you can say that, I'm going to need you to button your lips when I'm talking. Okay? Especially if I'm protecting, I'm providing, I'm loving you, I'm respecting you. I'm doing all those things you don't want for nothing, gal. Shut your mouth. What I say go. You're not going to run the household amok, right? You do what you do with the household. You provide nurturing and all the other stuff. But when it comes to being the authority over this household, because that's what it says, the man is also supposed to be the high priest of the home. When it comes to that, I'm gonna need you to stand down, especially if I'm raising boys into being men. You don't have a lot to say about that. You put band-aids on their knees and all that other stuff. But when it comes to them being fearless, that's my job. And what I'm gonna need you to do is go in there and make us some cookies or whatever it is you do with your little fine brown self. But all this up, you're overstepping your boundaries just a little bit, don't you think?
Yeah, and the reason I bring that up, there's the 4 Ps. A lot of people don't believe in the 4 Ps of what men are supposed to do, what men bring to a relationship. It's protection, providing, problem solving, and procreating. Those are the 4 Ps for men in general when it comes to a relationship. But the reason I say that is this. My mother being a widowed mother, she would always tell me, because I was kind of a militant type person and kind of push back, you need to stand down, or you need to sit your ass down. You're going to get killed. That always came out of her mouth. But in the WLC wars that we had here, with me fighting, I finally got the bathroom for the park. I finally did those things. I did it years after years of just hollering and screaming and doing whatever it is I needed to do as a man to stand up for what I thought was right. And I ended up doing that. And unfortunately, in our community, and I know you ladies, you love your sons. It's a fact. Women love the sons, but they teach the girls. That's a fact. Okay. We got to stop. You moms out there, and unfortunately, we live in a society where 70% of our community is led by female households. Ladies, please stop telling your sons to stand down and not get involved when they should be standing up and taking the bullet. I'm very sure Martin Luther King's mother didn't want him out there, but he ended up getting a bullet. Malcolm X, he ended up getting a bullet. I mean, somebody's got to take it. So
hell, his mama ended up getting a bullet.
Getting a bullet, right? Exactly. So we got to stop that, and and let these men be men to the best of their ability. There's nothing wrong with gangs in the community. A lot of our dads were in gangs, but it wasn't the gangs that we have today. You couldn't just walk into a neighborhood and nobody knew who you were. What are you doing here? There was always somebody in the neighborhood, in my dad's group of friends, that would ask you, especially if you're around their age, what you doing here? What you want? What's going on? You couldn't just do that because men stood up in the community. Now we don't do that because we are taught to be fearful as men.
Yeah, and my dad, speaking of gangs, back in the day, he was part of the Slausons. Under that of, or along with that of, Bunchy Carter was a little older than my dad, but, they was part of the Slausons. Of course, y'all know Bunchy Carter, went on to be a Black Panther who, obviously, unfortunately, was murdered. But yeah, they had a little bit more principle back then. They wasn't just fighting over territory per se. They had a little bit more going on in the mind. You know what I'm saying? To the point of, as I said, my father, NOI since he was 19 years old. And, like I said, Bunchy Carter went on to be Black Panther and all of that kind of stuff. So they had a little bit more consciousness going on with them than they do now. But yeah, I guess women, you nurture the boys to the point of them being wussies. And I know somebody gonna be mad, but damn it, there's, there you do. I'm a 52-year-old woman. I can tell you right now, there's a lot of men my age that are wussies. And I've been tied to the apron, still tied to the apron, can't make no decision without their mama. Their mama got something to say about what they doing. Because, my son and all this stuff. Can I tell you how many times that I've had a mother tell me not to hurt their son? Like, well, whatever would give you that idea about me? And then their son turn around and hurt me? You more worried about me hurting your son than you telling your son that you be good to that woman because she seemed like she a good woman. She got your back. Matter of fact, I'm going to bust you in your head if I find out you hurt this woman. But you coming to me, don't hurt your son. Well, you know good and hell, well, that's your son, because your son I ain't the first woman he been with. But your son got a track record of, making them and breaking them. Because if that wasn't the case, then what about all the other women he was with that they hurt him too? You know what I'm saying? So I'm agreeing with you, and that stop wussifying. I want to say something else, but I'm a lady. Stop wussifying your sons. You know what I mean? Like I said, I raised 2 nephews. They was teenagers because, their father had his own thing going on. No shade to him, not blaming him, whatever. He's a good dude, whatever. I took on the responsibility. Did I have to punch a nigger on the chest every once and again? Yes, I did. You know what I'm saying? And it wasn't out of I hate you, but it's like, boy, who you talking to type of thing. You know what I'm saying? Because I wasn't a man, but I had to let them know there's certain things you will and you will not do or say. God bless her, but I ain't your mama. And you can ask my niece and nephews right now. They'll tell you how many times has my auntie told me, I ain't your mama or your daddy. With them, you might be able to say A, B, and C, and D, but I'll put your teeth somewhere else. Now, did I ever have to really go that far? No, but they thought I would. You know what I'm saying? So stop. And up to this day, my nephews, they take good advice from me. And I'm not one, because I'm like more like an auntie mama to them, right? But I'm not one of those auntie mamas. Ooh, child, she just ain't no good. Ooh, you deserve better. Oh, I'll be like, you know what? You signed up for that. Now you deal with it. I'm not saying you deserve what you're going through, but you make better decisions next time because you was taught better. That's where I come from. So I agree with you. We got to stop, coddling these grown ass Negroes who, you know, and I'm gonna keep it real with y'all. I'm probably gonna get in trouble. I ain't trying to get in trouble. Maybe I am just a little bit. That's why a lot of these men won't make a decision with women. Because I think subconsciously they like, she ain't my mama though. You know what I mean? They subconsciously, and it's like the Oedipus syndrome. Y'all know Oedipus? You know, he had an incestuous relationship with his mama. It's Greek mythology or whatever. But there's a lot of that going on now. Now, maybe y'all ain't really like in the sheets together. I don't know. So I have questions sometimes, some of these men. Maybe y'all not in the sheets together, but y'all mentally and emotionally are in the sheets with your mama. Y'all can't have a full-fledged relationship with a woman outside of your mama because your mama is too involved in your life and you have not been taught that your mama needs to have boundaries. And so a lot of times men don't make decisions. Well, I'll just be single for the rest of my life. You know why they're single for the rest? I'm going to tell you, I'm going to take it a step further. You notice, and Donovan, you got male friends, some of the like the ones I'm about to say. A lot of those men talking about, well, I'm just good with being single until they mama start pushing up daisies. When they mama check up out of here and she go to the upper room or the lower room, some of they mamas, then they start talking about, well, you know, I think I'm trying to get married. You know why they're trying to get married? They ain't looking for no wife. They looking for another mama because they mama was doing all the stuff that they should have been doing with another woman.
Well, you know, think about this real quick too. When a man gets in a situation where he impregnates a girl, right? Who is the main one that eggs that whole thing on? Well, you ain't got to marry her, but you know, don't let her, that's your baby, whatever. And she, all the confusion is put in there, whatever the deal is. Whereas a man, a real father, usually says, "Hey, you're a man, handle your business." That's pretty much all a father would basically tell you. Handle your business. Son, how do you know that's your baby? Who puts all that doubt into their heads?
Or how about this? Well, you know, I looked at the ears of the baby. That's gonna be a black baby. And you ain't nobody in our family that dark. Are you sure you the daddy? Because, you know, I'll be honest with you. I'll tell y'all my story. I ain't got a lot to kick it to y'all. My daughter's father, mama tried that. You know, she's from North Carolina, for those y'all. North Carolina. And so he tells her that I done got in the family way. She ran that on that Negro. How you know that's your child? He had the unmitigated gall to repeat that to me. I told my mama. My mama called him. She's calling his mama, but she wasn't home. And he answered the phone. She says, I understand you talking about your mama told you to make sure that's your baby. She said, was it you that came to me when y'all first got together talking about I would pay you to have a baby with your daughter? And not that she got a baby, which you ain't paid me, not that she was looking at me, but you know, baby with my daughter on the way, now you questioning whether that's your child. She says, I tell you what, I'm going to sell all, because he was in the military. He had just got out and stored all the stuff in my mom's garage. I'm going to sell all your stuff. You don't have some money to my daughter, Western Union. That's back in the day. Western Union, her some money. And so she can get her some clothes and she can survive because she can't work right now because she is 6 months pregnant. You don't have that. I'm going to sell all your stuff. He had to high end everything. I'm going to sell all your stuff to take care of my daughter. And she says, and for the life of me, as long as you stay black, don't you ever talk about this ain't your child. And guess what? He never did. He never said that to me. My daughter looked more like him than she do me, believe it or not.
Yeah,
the point that I'm making is, sometimes mamas do tell their sons nonsense and end up getting themselves hemmed up by mamas like mine.
Yeah, because you think about it, when a man speaks, we don't really have much to say because, you know, we know the nature of men. Hey, dog, did you hit it? Well, yeah. Well, then it's possibly, you know, it's possibly yours. So, you know, that's the end of the conversation. We're not going to put any doubt in his head because that's his problem. You're a man. Deal with it. And
I should say, too, mind you, we were in a relationship still. He had to go home and help his mom because they had a real bad flood, and he's very industrious and stuff like you. So he was, you know, pulling all the floor up and rebuilding the house and stuff. So he was away doing that, and somehow she put that little bug in his ear. Mind you, we were together. We were in a relationship. And he tried that, and she was like, oh, hell to the no. You will never insult my daughter like that.
Right. And then think about this too. You have the one son. She finally accepts that baby. Then he goes and does it again And look at these guys that have like 4 or 5, and the mama's just loving the grandkids, which, you know, what she should do, but there's no correction. Like a father would tell you, you know, hey, dog, you can't afford all this stuff. You better get yourself together. You better get yourself together. Simple as that. The mother's like, oh, that's my baby. And it's the same story again. He's on his 4th child with the 4th woman, and it's not his baby.
Or you as a mama don't put the foot to his backside, you know, proverbially anyway, and say, you know what? I'm going to love all the grandbabies. I'm going to love them all the same. But what I will not do is support you in all your degradation. You out there and you have one baby unwed, fine. I might even be able to deal with 2, but 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then you coming up laying up under my roof, or you woe is me, nah.
And can't hold the job.
Yeah, You need to go out there and make it do what it do, because you can hold your thing up when you was impregnating these women, but all of a sudden you ain't able to work. Your back was working just fine when you was doing the pushing. You know what I'm saying? So that's where we as women need to be with our sons, because I'm going to tell you, my daughter's 30 years old. There's not a reason under the sun why my daughter should not be with a good man. And I'm not saying there's not no good men out there her age, but she ain't found, or they ain't found her yet, because my baby ain't out there, you know, looking for men. They ain't found her yet, because a lot of them have these underlying, I can't. Oh, life is so hard. I'm having an emotional time. Like she's having a lot of these dudes talking about, I'm just going through it emotionally. And it's like, I'm not saying men don't, right? I don't want to get on here and say men should not have a time, because, you know, emotions happen. But to where it hinders you from living life, but it's like you are not too emotional to be playing video games all day, watching TV all day. You're not emotional to the point to where you can't stop doing that. But when it comes for you being able to take care of yourself and potentially a wife and some children, you just having a time of life, shut your ass up. I'm serious.
So real. And, you know, and that's what we got to stop doing, ladies. We have to start. If you're gonna teach the girls, please teach the boys. Please teach the boys. Stop loving the boys. Teach them.
And I'm gonna take it a step further where I'm probably gonna get in trouble. Women, if you got a good man, he doing all that he can for you and the child, shut your ass up. Don't be one of those women, because I do believe that a man can be ran off. Now, I don't believe anybody, man or woman, can be driven to cheat, because I just think that's kind of who you are. You wanted to do it, right? Now, can somebody give you the, you know, like that? Maybe, but the action all belong to you. But I'm saying to my ladies, you can run off I'm talking about a good man. Okay? I ain't talking about one that's out there cheating and doing all them. You can run off a good man with constant nagging. You ain't doing good enough. Shut up. Don't talk to my child. Because a lot of times when women talk to the father of the child, that's my child. I'm only talking to my child. Like, shut your ass up, okay? Allow that man to be a good man to you and a good father. But I would also say this, and I'm not talking to y'all from a position of, oh, I've got it all together and I did it all right. I had a daughter out of wedlock. I did. I had one child out of wedlock. Now that's all I got is one child. But we need to get to the point to where and I'm speaking to my ladies, you're like, now you can't have my goodies until you put a ring on my finger. What I got down there is going to be there after we get married. But see, the problem is we shacking. Oh, this is for men too. We shacking up. Now nowadays we ain't even shacking up with them. We just screwing, right? We screwing, having sex, unprotected. And then when some babies come about, then all of a sudden we hate each other, or whatever the case is. But no, as they say in the nation, settle down to a good choice. Stop. And the minister said it, you know, during Savior's Day address. Ladies, stop giving men the goods before he makes you an honest woman, because he gets it from you. He's probably tired of that or whatever, because it's the nature of a man. He won't do something else. Then he go down and be with Susie, do the same thing with her. And you thought, you made the mistake of thinking because he's taking you on a couple of good dates, or y'all laid down in the bed together, oh, that's my man. Because, you know, as women, we think if we have sex, you my man. He ain't made that clear to you. He sure ain't jumped over no broom with you. So you've assumed that that was your man because y'all having sex, but then you get all upset when he's doing it with somebody else or whatever the case is. So the point that I'm making is, as the minister said, make sure that you all are committed to each other. And that commitment is like, well, we go together real bad. That commitment is no, we going to real bad together to the courthouse, and we sealing the deal, and we're going to build a future together. That's the commitment.
Right. And real quick, we happen to know friends and people that constantly, especially, and I really feel bad for the ladies. You're with this man for 12 years, 8 years, and it's not legal. You have no ties to this man other than the children that he has to provide for. Other than that, he ain't got to do a damn thing for your black ass. He ain't got to do nothing for you. And I'm just thinking like this. If I'm with somebody for 12 years, that's an investment. I've invested my time. I'm never going to get that time back. So ladies, if you're going to be with the man that long, please put it to paper. You don't have to get married. I'm not saying get married, whatever, which would be an easier thing to do, but domestic partnership, put it to paper. Do something to where if something happens to that man, you're going to be compensated, and their children are going to be taken care of, and so on and so forth, whatever. I've seen too many women have 2-3 different baby daddies, and one of the baby daddies goes, and then she fighting the family for what she thinks she deserves. And it's like, no, you're not, you're nothing. You're nothing here. That situation.
I was asking my daughter, I think she's still here, bring me this book I'm reading. It's called The Way of the Secret Man. And it's funny that I'm reading that book. I'm halfway through. And what you described basically, and I want to address the men and the women. For women is, this is what the old people used to say, okay? So I don't ordinarily cuss a lot. Shit or get off the pot. Okay? That's what that means. You're with a man for 12 years and he ain't committed to you on no way, shape, or form. That's your fault, because you should have told him to shit or get off the pot with me. Because right now you holding a space in my life that somebody else who's probably going to be good to me can come along and say, hey, you know what? I want to make an honest woman out of you. I want to make sure that you have everything I have. I'm going to take care of you, or whatever the case is. But you're allowing these, and I'm speaking to the women right now, you're allowing these men to hold spaces in your life that are not trying to make you legit, right? Because I'm sorry, that's not a flex. Talking about you done been with a man all those years and he ain't asked you to marry him. And what are we doing here? That's different. Like you said, if you don't want to get married, but listen, like you said, 12 years or whatever it is, to me, past 3 or 4 years, that's too long. Now you're going into territory like, okay, well, what are we doing here? What are we, buddies? We roommates? We're placeholders.
Playing house, right?
Playing house. So a decision needs to come to either he gonna do something or he not gonna do something, and I'm gonna let him go, and I'm gonna go about my life and make way for a man who really wants to be with me, right? For the men. Now, this book is actually written for men, the way of the superior man. It's David Dita or something like that. I stole it from my brother Walter. He read it. I would imagine he did. Some of the things makes me wonder if he really read. But anyway, the part that I got to in this book, he's talking to men, and women can read it as well. He's saying, men, do all you can do to please your woman. All you can do. He says, because women are a complicated creature. We are. One minute she tells you I'm fine, and you know damn well she ain't, right? So do all you can to diffuse the situation. Let her know that she is loved. He said, because a lot of times when women act out or say or do certain things, act emotional, is because they don't feel the love from you, right? Maybe you're working a lot, you're busy or whatever. She doesn't feel loved. So he says, go about it to make her feel loved, whatever way you can. But if you cannot do that, let her go. Let her go. There's no sense of holding on to 10, 12, 5, whatever your relationship, if you're not moving forward to maybe to the goal of a marriage or something, let her go. Don't waste her time. Don't think, well, I'm going to try to fix her. She's just having a bad time, especially if you've done all you could do to make her feel loved. Let her go. Maybe somebody else could do what you can do. Don't take it personal. Let her go. So the point that I'm making is men and women, sometimes we hold on to relationships too long. Women, if you see that man has not realized his potential and he don't want to realize his potential, let him go. Let him go with a woman who I'm just fair to middling. What are you doing today? I don't know. We're going to watch and binge watch on. Let that, because that might be his thing. Go let him be with a woman they don't want to do much in life. If you're a woman like myself and you have higher aspirations and you with a man that don't, and I'm not saying that's even a bad match, but if it's to the point where he becomes resentful, he may be holding you back, let him go.
The funny, yeah.
I'm gonna say same thing with a man. If you a man and you got higher ambitions and you striving to do stuff, and why you always gotta be, and why you just let her go.
The funny thing is I have a lot of female cousins, right? And I've got a whole bunch of cousins, whether they have kids. These female cousins had a bunch of kids, different baby daddies. Now, this one cousin I got, she's with this dude. They have 3 children now. 3 children. She's fairly young. She's still in her 20s. She's got 3 children. And I just asked the question. I just said, hey, when are y'all going to get, isn't it funny that you got to like be careful how you say things? Like, I just asked a simple question, like your aunts would say back in the day, when y'all going to get married? I'm seeing 3 children. And she's like, well, we're not ready right now. What? You got 3 children. You're living together. What's the resistance in getting a legal piece of paper?
It's because he's not ready. That's why. So she won't tell you that.
Well, from what I've heard, it's her. It's not him. It's her. And I'm just thinking, why are you giving a man the most precious gift you can give a man, which is a child, and you're not requiring marriage or some kind of commitment? This man could walk out at any time, and what are you going to do then?
And then in a lot of those cases, you done gave this man 50, 11 babies. He ain't got no obligation to you other than the children. Y'all don't make it, and he gonna be the woman that's like, sucker. I don't think so. We need to get married. Like, she's imposing some demands on him, because that's what they say in the nation. A woman worth her weight is going to impose some demands on her man. You can't come up in here and be a lackluster, dusty buster. I'm going to need you to produce, show, and prove. And that's in the most loving way that you can. You need to let a man know I'm not no trampoline. You ain't finna just come hop up and down all up on me at your leisure and then go, do for another woman. No, I need you to come on in here. Sit yourself down. Let's make some plans. I want to marry you. Okay, great. I want to marry you, and this is what we're going to do. But now I'm not no pleasure center, boo-boo.
Right, but let me ask you this. Why is it that young women think it's like they think doing it backwards is the right way to do it? Because I guess everybody else is doing it. I don't know what it is. It's like you have one baby. Okay, are y'all going to get together, or y'all not going to get together? If I was a woman and a man told me that, I'd be like, well, okay, you're not going, we're not going to be serious about this. Then I'm definitely not giving you more children. Definitely not giving you more children. But I just, you look at these younger women in our community, and it's like, it's upside down. The way they're thinking is upside down. They want to have the children, which to me, if the relationship doesn't work out, it dooms the children to either poverty or that missing link of not having the father in the home. Do you see what I'm saying? And it's like, for them, that they think it's normal. Why do they think that that's perfectly fine?
It is perfectly fine from what they've taught, because we, as we develop more generations, are moving farther and farther away from the source that illustrated marriage, right? You saw your grandparents married. You saw your mom and dad married. But now the generations are moving farther and farther away from that. Now the generations that we have now, they're not seeing mom and dad married. They can say, I got a mom and dad, but my mom and dad were never married. They might be married to somebody else, but the children now are not experiencing a union between their parents. And so that's getting watered down, because you as a child, you're going to drink from the example of your parents. You don't see your parents married and they're not preaching to you or illustrating to you, you should be married before you're out there making all these babies or whatever. Don't do like I did. I'm one of those people. I had a daughter out of wedlock, and I've told my daughter, as long as she can have a conversation with me, this is the way you do it. Don't do it like I did. You're a blessing to me. I'm glad that you're here. But it would have been so much better if I would have had you within a union, that if I was married to your dad. Now, mind you, we were young and there was a lot going on. But my daughter doesn't have any children. She knows that she needs to be married, settle down to a good choice before bringing life into the world. Because unfortunately, what a lot of women do, that children, I'm saying older children, women do, they go out and have children and they essentially make their mama the baby daddy. Now, what do I mean by that? A lot of times the father that they had those children with don't stick around for whatever reason. I'm not even saying it's his fault. He just don't stick around for whatever reason. Now you done made your mama the baby daddy, because now the mama is helping you raise the children. So essentially, y'all kind of married because y'all have a union. Your mom, I got to go to work. I'm going to drop the kids off at 3. Okay, it's fine. I'm going to be here. Oh, mom, I ain't got no money for milk. Can you give me money? So the grandmama essentially takes on the role of the baby daddy. But it will behoove us as parents to teach our children, nah, honey, boys or girls, stop going out there making all these babies if you ain't going to be with the other parent.
Well, think about this real quick. I know we're kind of running along here, but I just want to ask this question, because I'm the logic. Men are logical. We're just logical. If I'm a woman and I really love this man, he's just my crush. I love him. I love him. I love him. Right? Wouldn't it make more sense to make sure that this man marries me so he just can't walk out? He's legally tied to me. Wouldn't that make more sense? Because if I really want this man and he's the man, I can't live without whatever he does. I'm gonna give him a baby. Okay, we got a baby. That's fine. But you got to marry me. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Wouldn't that make more sense to have some kind of legal tie to the man to where he just can't walk out? Yeah, you could do it physically, but technically you can't walk because I've tied you legally to me. Wouldn't that make more sense?
See, when we started singing the messages and teaching the messages, having a piece of man is better than having no man at all, I think that's when it started to get lost in translation, because we don't teach our children. I'm going to say children, boys and girls, have more value on yourself. Boys, don't spread your seed to somebody you ain't trying to be with. Girls, don't open yourself to a man that's not yours. Now, when I say a man that's not yours, I'm talking about a man that you married to, like you said. Make sure y'all have that understanding. Y'all have that together legally or whatever before y'all go off and do things that you may regret. That takes a courtship. I like you, you like me, but it has to go beyond the physical. It has to go beyond the things, the cute little things you said to me over the phone when we was cupcaking in the middle of the night. You know what I mean? Those things also have to line up, and I have to see you in action on both sides. Woman, you tell me you a good woman, you know how to keep a good house and take care of, clean or whatever they can cook. All right, well, let's see if that's some of that lines up. Now, I'm not saying you got to make a maid out of her before y'all get together, but I'm just using that as an example too. Make sure that, as I told y'all before, when I was in my young 20s, I met a guy, said he was a teacher, but he was really a crossing guard at the damn school. Make sure he's actually a teacher. You know what I'm saying? So that's what the courtship is about. Making sure that their words are actually actionable and it's things that they're really doing in real life, right? And you should do that before you get horizontal. Listen, me and Donovan, we ain't no spring chickens. We've been horizontal with people we really shouldn't have been before. So I think we can speak on this. Stop getting horizontal with people you don't really know if you really won't even be with like that, right? Because when you get horizontal, all the common sense leave the windows. Like, ooh, child, he the what? Oh, God, he just, wow, he the one. But then a couple months later, like, nah, he's a fool.
Right.
And
I'm a firm believer for the fellas. I'm talking to the fellas. It's cheaper to keep her. You do not want to be throwing your money out there and having your money taken from you, and you have no say so whatsoever how it goes, what's it going to do, how it's going to do it. Hey, I laid down. I'm not saying, be with somebody you don't want to be with, but the point is, what I'm saying is it's cheaper to keep her. Period. If you don't want to be with that chick, don't have no baby with her. You make sure you protect your seed. But I mean, I would rather the woman be with me and be my wife, and that way I have some say so, versus not having any say so whatsoever, and I'm just mad and bitter. So,
and as Walter says all the time, when you married to somebody, you're less likely to just chuck it out the window and say, well, I'm gonna walk away, because there's ramifications. We got to go get some lawyers. We got to, split the kids up in the house. There's things you got to do. So you're more prone. I'm not saying that's always the case, but you're more prone to say, I think maybe we should try to work this out, opposed to I'm just the girlfriend or the baby daddy, baby mama, F you, I'm going home to my mama house. You know what I mean? So I'm a big proponent of courtship and marriage, which is why, as they say in the nation, Dr. Ava Muhammad said, Dr. Ava Muhammad, God rest her soul. She says, we don't date in the nation. Dating, we don't be hanging out at bars, going out for drinks and all of that. We court. There'll be time for that later. But I need to see if I should even be hanging out with you anywhere at dinner, or, having anything with you. I need to make sure that we at least are on that level. But see, we do it backwards. You're supposed to date your wife, date your husband, but we out there dating potentials, spending money and time and effort and energy, all kind of stuff on potentials. Somebody ain't asked you to marry him, and somebody you don't even know if you would say yes to. So that's why I say, me personally, I don't date anymore, because I just don't.
Thrill is gone. The thrill is gone. But
And
okay,
the thrill is gone. It's just, what are we doing here? You know
right?
what I mean?
Exactly.
I'm old,
Wasting
old.
time.
Yeah, you old, I'm old. What are we doing here?
Right. Well, real quick, as we transition real quick, you got a lot of people out there that are delusional, men and women. And Kevin Sams used to say this a lot in regards to how people see themselves and how the world sees them. Now, me personally, if I had to rate myself, I'm an average man. I'm average in the fact that I'm average height. I would rate myself, taking the 7 out, like Kevin Samuels did, from 1 to 10, minus the 7. I would rate myself about a 6. I'm a little bit above average when it comes to looks and everything like that, intelligence and all this other stuff like that. But overall, my overall grade I would give myself is about a 6.5. About a 6.5 in regards to the whole package type thing. Average guy, right? But unfortunately, because of body shaming and whatever these things these women have out there, you've got women that are so delusional. And the sad thing is, a lot of women won't even check the women to put them in reality. You've got some women out there that they could be 300 something pounds, 5'2", and they still rate themselves as a 10. And I think they do that. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think they do that is because they have the golden box. What do you think?
It's because it's kind of hard for me to say with another woman how she's rating herself. But I think, as I always say with a lot of things in life, it's in the eye of the beholder. I think a lot of that has to do with women having a high self-esteem about themselves. And I think you should have a high self-esteem. But I do think too, we should also have a come to Jesus moment and be realistic with ourselves. I'm one of those ones, and I know somebody will get mad. As I've gotten older in life, I give no damns about people getting mad with because I'm gonna say what I got to say, because I feel like I'm one of those people that I kind of think about most of the things that I say. But I'm one of those people that I hate with a passion this whole bonnet craze in public, being slovenly in public. And I'm talking about for the men and women, because men out there wearing bonnets too, okay? I'm one of those people that I don't love it, and I'm not going to ever pretend that I love it. I'm not going to tell you I like it to appease you. If I ever had a friend that was doing that, I would say, girl, are you crazy? Do you know how that looks? I went to Walmart the other day. I know I said I'm going to stop going, but, I was there. And I saw this sister in a nightgown on one of those little hover rounds. And she wasn't even a big woman, one of those things that you ride to the store, with a bonnet to match on and house shoes. And she driving through the damn store shopping Mind you, she also got gaffled up for stealing. She then tried to run up out the damn store with stuff she didn't pay for. True story. Okay. So I saw a lot of bonnets throughout the store. And as I was leaving, I saw a man with a green bonnet walking in the damn store. And then as we were approaching our car, I saw a lady with this long yellow bonnet. The bonnet was like down her back, long, just fluffy and long, get this bright like Big Bird bonnet. And I'm like, what in the everlasting is going on here? Like, when did this be? So what point that I'm making is, I'm not one to say it's cool. I get it, girl. You ran out the house. You got to go get some sugar from this. I'm like, put your hand in a ponytail hat. I'm a hat person. If I am not going to be able to get myself together, I have a couple of little baseball caps I'll put on, whatever, look decent enough to go to the store real quick or to the gym. I do that. But I don't even see people at the gym with bonnets on. I don't love that. So what the point that I'm making is, we need to stop living in delusion. Okay. The bonnet I don't like it. And it's not acceptable. Your mama, your grandmama, and them probably, there were some of these women, their mama and grandma probably would. I'm saying my grandmama and my mama did not do that. So I didn't learn that example of how to be a slob in public. Because to me, that's sloppy. And it makes you look like a slob. And you know what else I think? I'm really going to get myself in trouble. I think you didn't wash your ass that day. I think you woke up, realized the children didn't have no milk for their cereal, and you rolled your fuck ass up out the bed, slid your shoes, your feet in the house shoes, wrestled your bonnet around a little bit, and then you grabbed your car keys and got in the car. You didn't wash your face, brush your teeth, and you went in there to Walmart and got what you needed to get. That's what I think happened.
Do you know what one of my things that I hate? And I love to travel and I love to fly. When I see our people, especially our women, coming to the airport with bonnets on, it's like, okay, even if it's a midnight red-eye flight, you back in the day, it used to be presentable. It used to be a privilege to, come there. But now you see us come there. We got the shower shoes on. I can understand you got to take your shoes off going through TSA, whatever. I get that. But the appearance, it's like, they're in their pajamas to get on the plane, and you're looking at them like, wow. And these are the very people that all with the bags are not usually, but in some cases their bags are overweight or whatever, or oversized, and they want to argue and stuff. And just kind of like, wow. It's like, okay, if you're going to have your hair, I understand what the thing is about your hair. But if your hair is all that and you spend all this money on your hair, whatever, and you're out in public, don't you want somebody to see that and say, hey, well, she's got a nice hair, or whatever it does. You're covering it up most of the time. It doesn't make sense to me.
That's what confuses me. Like, what's on? I'm honestly like, I'm thinking about doing the show. What's up under your bonnet? You know what I'm saying? Because it's like, is it some $20,000 hairstyle you pay for, and the wind will crumple it? Like, what's going on with under your bonnet? Because I'm like, what kind of hairstyle? What's going? I get it. Sometimes you don't want to comb your hair. Whatever. I'm one of those people. I comb my hair. It's probably 1 to 2 days a week that I don't comb my hair. I take a bath, okay, but I don't get dressed because I don't leave the house and I'm just tired. I start my work day. Really, I work almost every day of the week. You know what I mean? For everything that I do. So there's some days I'm like, I'm not doing another day. I get it, but I'm not leaving the house like that. If I got to go to the store or something, I'm gonna get dressed, right? But even at the airport, I know there's white people. I see white people with the booties hanging out. I'm like, whatever. But we speaking about us. But my thing is, because Donovan, me and you are old enough to remember when we went and flew somewhere with our families, you were presentable. Yeah, you were presentable. You look like you had on your going to meeting clothes, damn near. Because our parents had pride, right? They make sure that you representative of the family, you looking like you need whatever the case is. But I too y'all know I travel spirit. I do. Y'all know I see some things that's like, and I wonder, you left your house, and a lot of times they be having the Louis bags. You left your house, came all the way to the airport in that. Because I guess maybe the premise is when I get on the plane, when I get where I'm going, I'm gonna really show up what I got going on under this bonnet. I don't know, but I don't like it. So I think that's delusion to think that that's okay. It's not.
But think about this though. If you're gonna go over there and show up like that, you want to look $1 million there. You look okay. I'm in LA, LAX. Movie stars, producers are all here. Shouldn't you look like $1 million in case somebody sees you here?
I'm gonna tell y'all a true story. If I'm lying, I'm flying on my mama RIP. Okay. On my way back, going through Los Angeles, LAX airport, a woman sitting down, and me and my daughter was going to our gate. She jumped up. I know you. I kid you not. I know you. You're from the African Diaspora News Channel. And I said, yeah. She says, Demetra. Oh my God. She comes, she gives me a hug. She says, I just want to tell you, keep doing what you're doing. I love it. Keep waking people up. Y'all are doing a good job over there. So, I was like, oh, wow, and it reinforced to me, this is why you don't come out the house looking like some rode hard and put away wet.
So you didn't have your bonnet on?
Sense. No.
You didn't have your bonnet on?
No.
Okay. I got
You know what I'm saying? That reinforced made me feel good, because what if I was out there looking crazy?
You would be on a video right now talking about, hey, you guys, Demetra K of the African Diaspora Channel, she was at the thing, and look at how she was dressed.
Look at how she was stanky. Yeah,
right.
I was looking stanky, and I want to tell you, I wasn't dressed up. I had on a nice pair of trousers, and I had on my trusty blue jean jacket, and I had a shirt underneath it. I looked presentable, right? And my hair was combed or whatever. I didn't have no makeup or nothing, but I was presentable, like I was trying to get my ass home,
You put it like this: we can identify who you are based on just being presentable.
Yeah, So I don't know. Also, that led. I know if we get out of here because we're gonna be back in a little bit. I got another story for you. I ain't gonna lie to kick it with y'all. When I was very young, I was getting ready to go to work, right? And I had to go. This back in the day, we had to go in and pay your light bill, right? You can do the shit online, because they had that back then. So I lived literally around the corner on 6th Street. Where the old light company and gas phone company used to be on Orange Street and all that over there. I lived right on the corner. So I wasn't my best, okay? I had on like some sweats or something. Hair wasn't combed, but it wasn't terrible. I could have done better. Let's put it that way. I'm going into the light company, and I saw my middle school sweetheart walking out. And I hadn't seen him in years. When I tell you this woman was fine. Now, had I been on my square, we might have been reunited. I don't know. But he said, hey, how you doing? I said, oh, I'm good. How you doing? And from that point on, I was like, never again. Now, this was when I was young. My daughter was probably like 1. And never again. I was like, you never know who you're going to see out here in these streets. So that was a lesson for me. But anyway, y'all, Donovan.
No, good story. Good story. We really got to be realistic in how we see ourselves in the public. Not everybody's going to see us as a 10. Everybody's going to see us as an 8. Some of us, depending on how we present ourselves in the public, we might think it's okay in this aspect. When you get out there, people are like, oh yeah, that person, oh my gosh, ghetto or something in a derogatory sense. So let's be realistic about, how we present ourselves in public. And this is another problem dealing in our community. I'm not worried about the other communities. I'm worried about our community. This is another perception. The perception is real to these other groups. So if our women, the center of our community is the Black woman, in the Black community is the Black woman. You guys control the children. You guys teach the children. You guys are the nurturers. You guys are the center of the community. If you guys aren't representing us as a people properly out there, then they're going to continue to think that we're ghetto, we're savage, we don't deserve this, we don't deserve that. You know what? I can understand why some people don't want us to have reparations, because we don't look like we deserve it. You know, what kind of person is going to get all this hundreds of thousands of dollars and you look a certain, I'm not saying that should be the aspect to it, but I'm just saying how they think. This is how they think.
You know what though? They didn't care how we looked when we was on the plantation with no shoes on our feet and barely any clothes and food in our stomachs. So they shouldn't give a damn now.
True. But unfortunately, you know, reality is the way it is today. You know, when we present ourselves, when you go to court, Demetra, is this not true? And I know we got to get out of here. Is this not true? Appearance is everything. When you first arrive in that court and that judge sees you, it's everything. You can't come up there with your do-rag on, fellas, your pants sagging. At least you shouldn't come up there looking like that. I mean,
first impressions matter.
First impressions, right. So if I'm coming up there looking presentable and I'm asking for reparations, they might consider, well, you know, like, yeah, man, these guys are looking.
They won't, but I get where you're going with that.
Right. But the point is, when we go to ask for reparations, we have to go to a court. You're going into a court to ask.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Well, you know, they run us our money. If I'm running up in that butt naked.
Right. But I'm just saying that, you know, for our community, when the women are just out there looking busted, that's how we're going to be perceived.
Yep. So anyway, we'll see y'all just a little bit. I'm gonna get done with this and put this up immediately. So Donovan, I'll go have your big piece of chicken. I don't know if you'll go for Chick-Fil or not, but I'll see you in about 2.5 hours. All right. Bye, y'all.